All right, San Antonio Spurs beat Oklahoma City in Game 7, and Chet Holmgren didn't have the best game of his career. Not here to have a Chet Holmgren bashing session, but we'll just kind of compare his regular season, some of his post season games, and kind of compare him to his Game 7. Before we even get into the numbers, Chet only took 2 shots the entirety of Game 7. He was just not aggressive out there at all. Whenever Chet sees Victor Wembanyama, he just kind of wilts up and he's just scared of Victor Wembanyama. He was on, I want to say it was Paul George's podcast, maybe 1 or 2 years ago, and they're talking about the rivalry with him and Wemby. And Chet Holmgren basically said, "We're just out there competing. We're just playing basketball. I don't know why people talk about the rivalry with him and Wemby. We're just two dudes playing basketball." Chet says, "I barely even know the guy." And he's just ducking smoke, in my opinion. You know Victor Wembanyama, dude. They played against each other. When I say they were 16 or 17, it was the French team versus the USA team, and Chet and the USA team ended up winning the gold medal that year. And Wemby just never really let it go. He just hates losing. He just finds any little thing he can to motivate himself, kind of like Kobe Bryant used to do. So do I expect Chet Holmgren to outplay Wemby in Game 7? No, I definitely don't. I think people should stop comparing them right next to each other because Chet Holmgren's never going to be the best player in the NBA, and that's not a knock to him, but when you compare him to Wemby, you're just putting Chet in a bad space. It's going to make him look really bad, but he still had a really poor Game 7, and that's not compared to Wembanyama. That's just compared to Chet Holmgren's own standards. But OKC, they have Chet on the 5-year, $240 million contract. He got his maximum rookie extension for his contract, and just like the Spurs will do to De'Aaron Fox, Spurs fans, we tend to make De'Aaron Fox the scapegoat a lot of the times if we lose games, and De'Aaron Fox played bad in that game. I don't think it's fair to completely blame De'Aaron Fox for losses when he played bad and throw him under the bus. I don't think it's completely fair to blame Chet Holmgren for the Game 7 loss, but he bears the most of the blame. As a Spurs fan, comparing it to De'Aaron Fox, if De'Aaron Fox has a bad game, we're going to point it out. I'm not going to totally blame him for the loss again, but I'm going to point it out. I'm going to say, hey, De'Aaron, we need you to play better than that because De'Aaron Fox is also on a maximum contract. And when you're getting paid all that money, we're just going to expect more production out of you. So with Chet getting paid all this money, it just makes the microscope even bigger on Chet Holmgren. But for Chet Holmgren's postseason career, for these playoffs at least, he played 15 games. He averaged 15 points, 8 rebounds, 1 steal, a block and a half. He's 57% from the field, 36% from 3, and 83% from the line. So that's solid. I wouldn't be mad about that if you give me 15 points, 8 rebounds, a block and a half, a steal on really good efficiency. I'll take that. If J-Dub is healthy out there for this whole playoffs, maybe OKC can beat San Antonio. They would have had a way better chance with AJ Mitchell and J-Dub healthy. And then Chet Holmgren would be the third option on the team. That's the big three: SGA, J-Dub, and Chet in that order. So if J-Dub's healthy and Chet Holmgren gives you 15 points, 8 rebounds on 57% from the field, I don't think anybody's really that mad about his postseason run. This regular season, he played 69 games. He averaged 17 points, 9 rebounds on 56% from the field, 36% from 3, just about 80% from the line. So compared to his regular season numbers, he did take a drop off. His points dropped off about 2 points. His blocks and steals were about the same. His rebounds came down about 1 rebound. I don't think that's that big of a deal, but his regular season numbers into the postseason, again, they basically translated. His points did come down 2 points a game, but I wouldn't be that worried about that. But yeah, his postseason numbers did drop down a little bit from the regular season. In this playoff run, people will bring up the Game 7, of course. He had The most glaring stat, forget about his points and rebounds. He was 1 for 2. He only took 2 shots in the entire game, and that's the thing that's inexcusable. I compare him to De'Aaron Fox. It's a big man and a point guard. They're totally different, but just with their contracts, again, the contracts are really similar. They're both on maximum contracts. So if De'Aaron Fox came out in this game and he took 2 shots, myself and all the other Spurs fans would say, "What the fuck are you doing, De'Aaron Fox? I know you have an injured ankle, but you need to take at least 10 shots and go out." That's not guns blazing. If you take like 15 or 20 shots, that's guns blazing, but you need to be in the game. You need to take more than 2 shots. If De'Aaron Fox took 2 shots in game 7, myself and all the other Spurs fans would be crucifying him, and he would deserve it. Um, that's the most glaring thing is the 2 field goal attempts. He has 4 points and 4 rebounds, 2 turnovers as well. Does get the 2 blocks and 2 steals, so that is good. He finished second in Defensive Player of the Year. He's an awesome defender. Like I said earlier in the video, it's not a Chet Holmgren bash session of a video. It's more just comparing him to his regular season production, even his production so far or up until that point in the playoffs. It's just inexcusable, dude. To only take 2 shots in Game 7, it's just horrible. Up until that point in the Spurs series, I mean, for that entire series, Chet averaged 11 points, 7 rebounds, 27% from three, and 51% from the field. So again, to average to average 11 points and 7 rebounds in the Western Conference Finals as the third option on the team, he got bumped up to the number 2 option with J-Dub missing. Even if you were the number 3 option and J-Dub was healthy, to give me 11 points and 7 rebounds, 27% from 3, just a giant drop off from his regular season numbers, and a giant drop off just from the level of production he normally gives you in the postseason. But again, the 2 shots, that's the most glaring thing. Chet hit like a baseline jumper. It was beautiful. People always compare Chet versus Wemby. Wemby's on you one-on-one, Chet. You got to attack Wemby and be aggressive and look for your shot. I don't mind Chet not attacking Wemby. It's not a good matchup. I don't really expect anybody to attack Wemby one-on-one except for probably Joel Embiid, Jokic, and Giannis. Those are like the 3 players that I think can actually give Wemby trouble one-on-one, just with how big they are, how strong they are. They can actually kind of bring that physicality to Wemby and give him troubles. Really, other than those 3 players, I don't expect very many players to look at Wemby and get guarded by him one-on-one and just expect them, be aggressive, attack that one-on-one matchup. But Chet, the one shot he made, it was beautiful. Pretty sure Devin Vassell is guarding him. He's on the right side of the court. He's off the dribble, gives Vassell a little shoulder bump, and hits a beautiful fall away on the baseline, silky smooth. His stroke looks beautiful, and he can get to that shot pretty much anytime he wants. So it wasn't so much when he was matched up one-on-one against Wemby. They'd like to make that a rivalry again, but I don't expect him to attack that matchup. Just from a basketball viewpoint, it's just not. You don't have an advantage. You don't have a mismatch. So why would I expect you to attack Wemby like that? But again, when he has Champagnie guarding him, Devin Vassell, just like the shot he made, he shot it right over Devin Vassell, and he could have taken 10 more of those shots in this game and finished with at least 12 field goal attempts. But that was the main thing, just him not attacking San Antonio's guards. He had all types of opportunities to get shots just like that fadeaway. There was times De'Aaron Fox was guarding him, and he wasn't even attacking the mismatch against De'Aaron Fox. So he just really strunk in the game. He didn't even make an effort, in my opinion, to be aggressive in this game. And then he averages, again, 11 points, 7 rebounds on 27% from 3. But I do need more than 2 shot attempts from you in the Western Conference Finals. Again, he was 17 and 9, 17 points, 9 rebounds in the regular season. And to drop down to 11 points, 7 rebounds on 27% shooting from 3, It's just not going to cut it. Even as the third option, even if J-Dub and AJ Mitchell were totally healthy, that's just not going to do it. In the conference finals. His second round against the Lakers, he was 20 points, 10 rebounds, 60% from the field. That's going to work all day. That's amazing production, even as a second option, but especially as a third option. Then in round one against the Suns, he was 17 points, 9 rebounds on 60% shooting from the field again. Suns and Lakers are trash teams, though, so I wouldn't take too much away from those performances. But again, it's just not being aggressive. The field goal attempts. I heard someone saying it's on a podcast I watched called Player's Choice. If y'all don't watch Player's Choice, y'all should check it out. But I heard somebody mentioning Chet Holmgren's skill set. We want him to take all these shots. We want him to be more aggressive. But someone was saying his skill set just isn't good enough for him to give us those shot attempts and aggression. And I wouldn't agree with that. His skill set is good enough for him to take more than 2 shots. Again, he would get the mismatches against San Antonio's guards. Vassell, Champagny, De'Aaron Fox is the inexcusable one. You have to attack De'Aaron Fox. If De'Aaron Fox is on you, and again, his first shot of the game is just a beautiful fadeaway on the baseline. And I'm thinking Chet can take that shot anytime he wants. And he made the one shot and he just said, all right, I'm good, boys. Y'all have got it from here. Shortly after he made that shot, Wembanyama gets a give and go with De'Aaron Fox and just destroys Chet Holmgren at the rim. It wasn't like Chet Holmgren came over late or he got caught off by surprise. He saw Wemby coming right at him, go straight up to try to block his shot, and just got his soul absolutely snatched. And after he got dunked on, he just completely checked out of the game, basically. So again, the drop off from the regular season, he's 17 points, 9 rebounds in the regular season, and comes down to 11 points and 7 rebounds in the Western Conference Finals. All right, San Antonio Spurs, playoff riser, and just get way better in the playoffs, but I can't have your points per game drop off by 7 points and for your 3-point percentage to go down 10% once we're in the Western Conference Finals. I heard somebody mentioning Chet Holmgren had a good season. All right, San Antonio Spurs, but he really didn't. He averaged 12 points, 9 rebounds on 40% shooting from the field in that series against the Pacers in the finals. People remember his final game in Game 7, which was awesome. He had 18 points, 8 rebounds, 5 blocks, 50% from 3. He's 75% from the field in Game 7. So people remember that performance and kind of throw away what he was doing up until that point. But in Game 6, really similar to Game 7 against the Spurs, last year's finals, he had 4 points, 6 rebounds. He was 2 for 9 from the field. And I'll live with that. If he took at least 9 shots against the Spurs, I'd like to see him take 15, to be honest. But if he took at least 9 shots, then I can at least live with that. You know, the 4 points still sucks. That's still not a good performance. But I can't have you only take 1 shot and go 1 for 2 and just watch your team around you just lose the game. I felt like Chet came out in Game 7. He was so worried about playing bad or being the reason his team lost the game. He was so worried about missing shots, turning the ball over, whatever it was. And he was so worried about losing the game for his team or making bad plays. And he was just so worried all game long that he ended up being the main reason his team lost the game just because he wasn't aggressive out there. But again, I heard someone saying he was good in the finals last year, and that just really wasn't true. Game 6, he has 4 points. Game 5, he has 9 points. Game 1, he had 6 points. He was 2 for 9 for the 6 points in Game 1. He was 4 for 15 for the 9 points in Game 5. 2 for 9 for the 4 points in Game 6. So it's concerning. I'd be concerned as a Thunder fan about Chet Holmgren. He's 24 now. We saw from when Wemby came into the league as a rookie up until now, him and Chet pretty much looked the same. They were both stick figures as rookies, and now you've seen how Wemby's frame has filled out from his rookie season until now. Chet has put on some weight, but That's one thing he can control. Get into the weight room, dude. Add some more muscle on. You can deal with physicality better if you got a little bit stronger. But even if Chet weighed 240 pounds and he went out there and took 2 shots in game 7, it's just still inexcusable. But that's one thing I think about Chet. He can get in the weight room, put a little more size on so he can deal with physicality a bit better. That's one thing he can control, one thing he can do over the offseason. Everyone's freaking out. I heard Stephen A. Smith saying, "Oh, the Thunder, they have to trade for Giannis. They have to trade Chet Holmgren ASAP." I'm not so much on that side of things. Again, I'm a Spurs fan, but if I was a Thunder fan, I'd just be thinking to myself, we were missing J-Dub. We're missing AJ Mitchell. We still take the Spurs to 7 games. We could have won in game 6. We were up 3-2 in the series, and I wouldn't be freaking out as a Thunder fan. I'd be worried about Chet again. He wasn't good in last year's finals. He was really bad in this year's Western Conference Finals, especially game 7. So, I guess we're going to sit down with Chet. We want him to be more aggressive. Maybe he needs to go train with Wemby, go train with the Monks, because his his mindset in game 7 was the biggest problem. Him only taking 2 shots is just inexcusable. But again, if I'm a Thunder fan, I'm not really freaking out. I'm not looking to trade Chet Holmgren. I just run it back next season, have J-Dub healthy, have AJ Mitchell healthy, maybe get a good draft pick, maybe make a little trade for, I don't know, they're going to have to re-sign Isaiah Hartenstein. He has a player's option. So we'll see what they do with Isaiah Hartenstein. And again, basically just run it back next season with a healthy J-Dub and a healthy AJ Mitchell. I am concerned about Chet. I would be concerned as a Thunder fan. Again, people were saying he performed well in last year's finals. He averaged 12 points on 40% shooting. He didn't perform well in the Pacers series. Performed really bad against the Spurs. He looks good against the Suns and the Lakers. But once he plays a really good team like the Pacers last year or the Spurs this year, he has been underwhelming. But please like and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 7 million subscribers. Let me know what you thought about Chet's Game 7, just his Western Conference Finals overall. What you thought about his performance last year against the Pacers, because he had just an awesome Game 7. And then people kind of forget about how bad he was just kind of across that entire series. But please like the video, hate the video, tell your friends, do something to it, and we'll see y'all next time.